Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you have not subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, so toss me a buck or two in there if you are enjoying the streams. And most importantly, if you would like to join the debate, there is a link in the info box below this video. With the page you are currently listening to me on muted, simply click that link to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please do not swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please do not try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. And with that, I'm going to transition across to my photo so I can share the show on social media. And before I do, I would say that sharing the show is possibly the most important thing I'll ask the audience to do, as it increases the live audience, of course. But this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please smash that share button. And one last time, if you are unsubscribed or if you have not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. So I've just shared the show on Facebook, Skype and Twitter, and once again I would encourage anybody who is in the live audience to please also share the show on social media. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and I'm going to rush through these links because we have been joined by our first guest. So let's transition across to the Hangout and do a few introductions. So I think the first one in was Brenda. How are you doing, Brenda? Good to see you.
Good evening.
Good evening to you too. And we've also been joined by Joseph. How are you doing, Joseph? Good to have you here.
I'm doing good.
Good, excellent.
What's up?
Well, you two are both Globers, I believe. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves and tell us how spherical the Earth is.
Pretty spherical.
It is incontrovertible, absolutely true that the Earth is a sphere, spinning on its axis and rotating about the sun.
I mean, there's a certain form of legitimacy you have to think about. If the first proposition that the Earth was round happened in the 3rd century, or around the 3rd century, then, and for almost 2,000 years, it has not been debunked, you have to think that there's some legitimacy, at least some legitimacy to it, because if someone did debunk it, there would be huge uproar. Well, nowadays, but beforehand there wouldn't be as big of a deal. But still, you have to think, if it's been unchallenged for almost 2,000 years, that in its own is a pretty big, like, I'd say that's a pretty big indicator that it would be correct, because normally things that are false don't go that long.
Well, it has been challenged. It was challenged in the 1800s, and that was rock bottom, and it was mainly due to extreme religious conservatism and fundamentalism, people who reject science, reject facts, reject the truth, and want to believe in lies and falsehoods. And they promoted the lie of the flat Earth,
Right.
and it has and that was a reaction to the modern science that was coming up through the Enlightenment into the 17th, 18th, and 20th, 19th, 20th centuries, 21st century. Is popular now among a very tiny group of people who are extremely religiously conservative, bigots, anti-Semites, religious conservatives and extremists who hate science, hate facts, hate reality, and hate the truth, and hate anybody that disagrees with them. And those people have a small following on the internet.
Well,
There aren't that many people who actually believe in flat Earth.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, let's not make the opposition sound like the worst people imaginable, because when you start doing that, because when you start doing that, you start alienating them, and when you start alienating the other
I
side,
don't care.
they can't learn, and you can't learn.
But they're not going to learn. I'm not going to learn anything from these fools. I'm not going to learn anything from them.
Well, even if that is true, the reason that you might not be able to convince them is simply because, well, they don't like being called very.
That's too bad.
They don't
That's
like
too
being
bad.
summarized. I mean,
That's too bad.
that's like me summarizing that.
I don't care.
Because
I
there
don't
is.
care.
Well, no, but that. I understand.
I don't care.
All right.
It's a small group of people, and I don't care what they think.
Yes, but I know some
they're
very.
wrong.
I know some very pleasant
And
flat earthers.
I'm not going to convince them that they're wrong, because they're extremely bigoted, narrow-minded, and dogmatic in their beliefs, and they're not going to change their beliefs. They're not. So the only use for them is for me to get better at presenting my evidence for flat Earth, and for mockery and ridicule.
Well, I would like to just point out that some of my friends that I talk to on almost a daily basis, you know, they believe that the Earth is flat, but that they're quite nice people. So saying that they're all mean is just, I'd say that that's a generalization that I wouldn't like to make, because I would like to try to stay civil. Because if you stay civil, you have a higher chance of people learning from the other side, and the more they learn, the more they're likely to come over to the fact that
you're not going to convince. You're not going to convince Anthony Riley. He's a clown. He's not going to get convinced. You're not going to convince Pete Shea.
That you, Charles?
He's a delusional schizophrenic.
Actually, you,
hold
Charles?
on.
You're not going to convince.
Oh,
you're not going to
Brenda,
convince.
sorry, I just want
Jamie
to check it is
Brown.
actually Charles that's joined.
Brenda, someone new joined. Let's introduce them.
How you doing? Is that Charles? Is it? Let's just check.
Yeah, yes. Hello. Hooray! Can you guys hear me okay?
Yay! Hooray!
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I didn't mean to break into the conversation. Please continue. I'll go on mute.
Flat earthers should be mocked, ridiculed, and laughed at every time they're in the public space.
That is your.
They are a laughing stock. They are a laughing stock. As far as I know, for instance, Nathan Oakley here still drinks his own piss. You still drink your own piss, Nathan? Huh? Still drinking your own piss, are you? That's the flat Earth community.
If you don't want to try,
Yes, I don't want to try. They're people who drink their own
joined
piss.
by someone new. How you doing, Music
That's
Man?
who the flat Earthers are.
You there, Music Man?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello?
Are you having trouble hearing us?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey,
We
can you
hear
hear
you,
us just
Music Man.
fine,
We're
or-
here. No, he can't hear us.
I guess. Nah. Well, if you excuse me, I need to go take care of my cats real quick, so I'll be right back.
So if I can jump in, Brenda, it's something that I get a lot of flack from some of my globe brethren. Can you guys hear me all right?
We hear you, Charles. We're just checking if we can hear
okay.
Music Man. How you doing, Music Man? Can you
I've
hear
got
us?
no volume coming through on my end.
Can you hear us?
I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you, yes.
Perhaps I have an option selected somewhere.
New set of headphones, that's what we need.
Yeah. So Brenda, I am sorry that you go through this. It's one of my points that I try to emphasize to my globe fellows, my globe brethren, is to just stop with the insults. Like there's literally no place for insults in this conversation. And there's a couple guys who they're like, oh well, flat earthers must be ridiculed. I mean, this is exactly what you were saying, and it's just like I just don't see the need for it. You can have a conversation without calling somebody an idiot. So anyway,
Can you have a conversation with somebody who pulls the kinds of stunts that they pull?
yeah, the thing is, the stunts you're talking about, that you could find it in heaping amounts on both sides, actually. I mean, like the people who give me, like I show up in a chat room and they're like, screw you, Charles, and I just give them a smiley face back, and
Hello.
so it could go both ways, but I just choose not to participate.
We hear you.
Maybe.
You don't hear us.
Maybe. I remain unconvinced.
You hear me? I can't hear you though.
How you doing, Curved?
If anyone can hear me, can you type in the chat box on the side, please?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
How about me? Am I coming through?
Yeah, you're coming through.
I can hear you just fine.
Good to have you.
Thank you. I heard Charles talking about me as I was trying to join.
No, it wasn't you. It was the other guy.
Thank you, Nathan.
It was me. I know it was me.
Well, the avatars are popping up when people chat, but I'm receiving no volume.
Okay, can you hear
It's
me?
fine on YouTube link.
Can you hear me, Music Man?
Take that as a no. It's going to be a fun evening.
It's on now. Great, thank you.
Awesome. Woohoo.
Hey, Brenda, you're saying that all flat earthers are dipshits and stuff, yeah? All of your information is stuff you've got from textbooks. None of it is first hand.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That's not true.
So what have you learned first hand then?
Well, I look at the sun, I see it set, and I see an event that absolutely cannot happen on a flat earth.
And you've been to the sun, have you?
I've said I looked at the sun,
You looked at the sun.
and I can see an event that cannot happen on a flat earth.
What's an eclipse, is it?
What?
Did you say something? Or are you still having trouble with your audio?
Yeah, it's fine now, I think.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So if flat earth didn't exist, how would you be spending your evenings?
The way I usually do, I have friends in other social media that I talk to more than I talk to flat earthers.
Such as?
I typically go to a certain Discord channel, and we will talk aspects of philosophy and epistemology or politics.
Epistemology, I'm not even sure. What is that?
The theory of knowledge.
Epistemology is the theory of knowledge.
Yes, it is.
Knowledge as in
doing physics
taught
warrior.
to you
Good to
by
have you.
professors, yeah?
Can you hear us, physics?
No, as in, how do you know what you know?
Bear with me, Brenda.
Well,
Can you
a
hear us,
professor
physics?
is a philosophy of
Hey,
knowledge. Yeah?
Nathan.
Good to have you. Sorry, guys. You carry on.
Evening.
Yeah, we have another person.
You think of the word indoctrination, yeah? That comes from people who have got doctorates, yeah? Like the highest degree, which is a professor.
Yeah, that's not what the word means.
What does it mean then?
I think Nathan wants to announce somebody.
He just
He
did.
did.
I've done it. I'm all good.
Oh,
You
he
carry
did?
on.
Yeah.
You know,
You're all good?
if you understand,
I don't have an indoctrination. I have an education.
yes, but professors indoctrinate people. Yes.
No, they educate people.
No, the word profess means to often falsely claim a set of beliefs.
Oh my God.
No, that's not what it means.
Well, go and look up the word
Where's
profess.
Riley?
No,
Go
it
and
doesn't
look at
matter.
it.
See, this
Yes,
is
it-
why
why-
it's worthless.
Why doesn't it matter?
And you're simply, yeah.
Why
we-
does it
I have
matter?
an education. I have an education. I am not.
The word
Can you hear me?
doctor, the word doctor means to falsify something. Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, go and look it up in a
Wow.
dictionary.
No.
Oh my
Yes, I
goodness.
know. If I
Yeah,
look it up in the
part-time
dictionary, there are several definitions
I know
from
he
a
is.
medical
Oh,
doctor
I'm not mute.
to other
But the
things.
verb doctor is to falsify a document.
That's correct. That would be the verb, but that would not be a noun, would it?
So
Do you
don't
know the
think
difference
Yeah.
between a noun and a verb in English music?
Sorry, before
Why
we
do you
get into
think I
this,
use the
I know
word
you want
verb?
to. I know you want
Do
to
you know
thrash
the
this.
difference between a nerve and a
I-
verb?
I know
Hold
we'll,
on, hold
we'll
on.
eventually get to the etymology before I start to introduce part-time vegan. So how you doing, part-time? Can I just check we can hear you?
Hi,
Right.
vegan.
Hey, part-time, Earth to part-time. Maybe not.
So you don't think it's just a coincidence to you that the word indoctrinate is like the same as doctorate,
Okay.
which is the highest degree, professor.
Yeah,
Come on.
what you're doing is not etymology.
In
What
your
you're
eyes,
doing-
no, because
what you're doing is called bullshit.
you're coming from the same line of thought as these indoctrinators, these spin doctors.
All right. So if you're going to use the
Literally spin
definitions
doctors.
to try to attack, you have to accept the definitions. Then I take it, right?
I'm attacking because Brenda was just being very facetious and derogatory towards people who have a
But-
set.
No.
Yes, and then
Yes, he
you
was.
came on and showed just how stupid and ignorant flat earthers are.
And you can't even connect the words doctorate with indoctrine and doctor.
Exactly.
It's you.
You can't.
Yeah, I've got a spanner.
Exactly my point.
No.
Yeah, I've
That's
got
how
a spanner.
incredibly
Good.
ignorant and ill-informed and illogical
Can you
you
hear me?
are.
How you doing, Tony? Good to have you here.
How you
How
doing,
much
Nathan?
wine you had tonight,
What's up,
Brenda?
See you. We can hear. I think we can hear part-time vegan now as well. Can we just check? No, you're not muted. We just can't hear you. I don't think. There we go. We can hear you now. Good to have you here, part-time vegan.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Red, red wine.
So what does doctorate mean?
A doctorate is the highest university degree achievable.
It's a
But
female.
what does the
doctor.
word? What does the word mean?
Doctorate.
Yeah,
It means you've attained the highest degree set out by academia.
that's not what I asked you. I asked you what you, since you're wanting to do etymology,
No, if you
right?
recall,
What
I
is the
asked
root?
you what etymology meant when I first entered the room. So don't come all that crap with me.
Hey,
You
Mark.
don't know
how
what
you doing?
etymology is?
Good to have you, Mark.
First thing I asked you.
Hello.
We hear you now, vegan. Can you hear us? No. Mark, how you doing? Can you hear us,
Yeah,
Mark?
it was the thing with me, part-time vegan. When I first joined, I found that all of my volumes for the particular tabs were all set to 0 for some reason.
Good to have you here, Mark.
Yeah, I'm okay, Nathan. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Cool, nice one. Cheers.
Great, you
What's up,
know,
Mark?
the whole crew's in now.
So
Yo,
so
what's up?
music, doctorate, comes from the Latin root docere, and it means to teach.
Okay,
It doesn't mean to doctor or alter.
but the word doctor can mean to alter. Yes, if I
Can
doctor a
mean.
passport for somebody and sell it
Oh
for
my
£500,
goodness.
It could mean that, yes.
well, it does mean that also, doesn't it? Not it could. The Earth could be a globe. Yes.
Look, you're not really doing a good job here. I don't think you know how to think about these
Well, for
things.
me, it's not a job. I don't get paid.
This is why.
Neither do I.
This is a pastime.
Neither do I. Yeah, it is for me too. This is entertainment right now, and you're highly entertaining. So thank you for that.
Are you
What?
being
You're-
entertained?
You're getting triggered.
Well, there you go.
So-
I'm
so
doing
does
a good job.
doctor can refer to somebody who is a doctor. who is a medical position,
Yeah.
right?
What
It
about
can-
spin doctor?
That's what the noun means, and the
What about
verb
spin-
can. The
What
verb
about
can
it?
mean.
What's a spin doctor then?
What about it?
So can we
Well,
just say
now,
hello
what-
to Chad? How you
Brenda,
doing,
what it
Chad?
is?
Good to have you here.
Spin Doctor's a DJ.
Can you hear us, Chad? Hello.
A doctor of spin and funk.
Hey, Chad, can you say something? Trying to get a fix on your volume here, brother.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Just very quiet.
I've actually never used this and on the iPad, so I'm sorry if it's not working. You can just kick me out if it's not.
No, we can
just
hear you.
trying
You
to
just
help.
have to speak up. I've got you at maximum, but you're
Seems
just
to
very,
work.
very quiet still. So if you can just speak up, that'd be great. We can just about hear you, though. Thanks for being here. Nice to have you.
Are you a flat earther?
What did you
No
do for a
idea.
living, Curved? Or what did you do? You sound quite old.
I just like walked around pissing people off and stuff.
Oh, you must be quite wealthy then.
Yeah, I'm very wealthy. Yeah, sure.
Lots of
Whatever.
bonuses.
What
Oh,
difference does it make? What
A lot.
difference does it make?
A lot. I'd
I
like
mean,
to-
how ad hom do you want to go here with your arguments? This is.
I'm making conversation, asking you what you do for a living.
I'm not here. I'm not here to have conversation. This is
If
a
you
debate.
feel
This
like-
is a battlefield.
If you feel like you would need to defend your position, what you do for a living, then I understand that.
I don't have to defend a damn thing.
Then why are you being defensive then?
I'm not.
You said it was a battlefield.
It's off topic.
You just said it was a battlefield. So
You're
a battlefield,
off
why the
topic.
aggression or defensive, yeah?
Love's a battlefield too.
Discuss the issues. Let's talk
What do you do for a
about
living
some
then?
facts.
What do you do for a living, or what did you do for a living?
Chad, are you a flat
It's
earther?
none of your business.
Oh, there you go. You've answered the question. Well done. Ding ding.
You think that's a ding ding? What a dingbat you are.
No.
So why
Hey,
do you think the
Charles.
Earth is flat? Music.
Charles, I'm going to need you to explain your position to me again.
I don't.
Did you get that through that? No. I am not a flat earther.
Yay.
Cool. Welcome.
Score another one for the good guys.
I'm really just searching around for somebody who insists on being a flat earther that is not actually a Poe.
Ah, good
Good
luck.
luck.
So music,
I think
man.
I think music is genuine.
Yeah, I think music is
yeah.
genuine.
Yeah, he's as good a chance as you have.
And I'm not sure about Anthony Riley. I think he might be a Poe or he might not be. I'm not sure.
Hard to say. But the main thing is,
I must admit to you, Glow people, I found these debates very educational because I do go away afterwards and research the stuff myself. So I'll give you that, guys.
What experiments have you done as a result?
I launched a high altitude balloon.
and what'd you find?
Well, they look flat.
How about that? Looked
I know.
flat.
So,
Music,
Mr.
man, did you say you was a flat earther or not?
I'm undecided.
Undecided. Okay.
I know for a fact that we've not been to the moon. I know that we don't spin around.
There you go.
Well, so you're
See,
not that
he knows.
undecided then, are you?
It's a good start.
so music.
Yeah.
On
But it'll all be about me. Come on.
well, the thing is, I acknowledge that if the Earth is a globe 25,000 miles in circumference, then curvature, or trying to detect curvature, trying to see a curved horizon, is really a tough. That's a tough task without dedicated instruments like a theodolite.
Well, if I can see a boat disappear over the horizon, then why can't I see any curve from a 110,000 foot camera?
Yeah, well, no, actually, you can't see curvature from 100,000 feet. You have to, deal with the GoPro effect, and it depends on what lens you're using. But yeah, every high altitude balloon footage I've ever seen from 100,000 feet, you could readily see curvature.
Not my footage.
But well,
Maybe
okay.
you set it up right.
Publish it on? Did you publish it here on YouTube?
I did, yeah.
Okay. I only see your name as music. What's your channel name?
My channel name was my personal name, and I deleted it.
Oh, so it's not on the internet anymore.
No.
Oh, okay, okay. Because yeah, I'd be happy to take a look at your footage. But so what I always tell people is, if curvature, or if seeing curvature with your eyes is so incredibly hard, because if the Earth is 25,000 miles around, well then, like, stop focusing on curvature and then focus on something that is like completely obvious, and that is careful observations of the sun, moon, and stars.
It was something which I picked up on the other day, and perhaps 5 or 6 debates ago. So that Slice back in, he did a video where people were measuring the angle towards the sun by using like a yardstick and a shadow. Yeah.
Yes.
So he showed with his his diagram, when I took the graphics, he showed first of all of the white lines, which were the original lines on a flat Earth basis. He showed that they all did not converge at the same point. But then when it came to showing the globe, he didn't show the globe lines, the green lines, converging. Whereas he could have quite easily done that by just zooming out and scrolling to the side. People saying you can't do it because and laughing. They're full of it. If you go on YouTube and type in scale of the universe, they're like,
you have a fundamental misunderstanding of what you're looking
I
at.
haven't finished my point yet. I'm saying Slide Park Game could have quite easily shown the scale, because on YouTube there are over 1,000 videos titled Scale of the Universe, and they show the whole universe by just scrolling along. So don't say you can't show the Earth and the Sun in one videogram, because you can.
So Mr. Music, I think you're misunderstanding with the word can't. It's not that it can't be done. It's what representation is most helpful for what you're trying to convey.
I didn't say it can't be done. I just told you that it can be done, because there are thousands of videos on YouTube doing that very thing.
But if he didn't do it in that one graphic, then there's a reason.
Yeah, but that was the money shot. If that's the money shot, why didn't you do that?
Music.
Well, okay. So here's the question: when you talk about the green lines from the globe, and I haven't seen the video you're talking about, and you're saying, well, how come you didn't show them converging? Well, they should have been shown as being parallel.
No,
if they appeared to be parallel, then that is supporting the globe hypothesis.
King didn't show that. He showed that at a degree of 1 degree between the parallel lines, so 0.5 degrees either side of the two furthest.
Music, they left the globe parallel. Music, go back and watch the video. You can clearly see they leave the globe parallel.
And he put on there, he hallmarked on there 1 degree if you looked. So you go back and you watch it.
I've watched it and I saw the lines come off parallel.
Yeah, and he wrote on there 1 degree if you notice.
They come off parallel, didn't they?
You may have 1 degree of error because you're measuring essentially shadows from a ruler. So like 1 degree plus or minus.
Okay, if they listen, Mark, if you're saying the lines come off parallel, what was the point in showing that the white lines did not converge? Because no parallel lines converge, do they?
No. But the hypothesis with the flat Earth is that the sun is small and local.
Well, Mark's making a point saying that they're parallel, but yet the entire premise of Slice Bargain's video was to show that the white lines on a flat Earth do not converge.
But you have to understand the flat Earth model. The flat Earth model. So, Mr. Music, the flat Earth model has the flat Earth, say 10,000 miles across.
There is no flat Earth model.
It's like maybe 10 to 20,000 miles across. Okay, but the sun is only a few thousand miles high, which means it is small and local.
Yeah, there is no flat Earth model. Everyone is still learning.
I mean, just pick, make up a model. North Pole in the center, the sun going in a circle.
Look where that's got you.
Now can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
But
can you hear
Mr.
us?
Music, the whole point of doing that comparison is that if the sun is small and local above the surface of the flat Earth, then lines of sight should converge upon the sun.
You're just scared because you don't admit that you've been lied to all your life, and you think you're an academic genius, and you're not. All of you will.
So, but Mr. Music, you have observational data, and the observational data supports one model and doesn't support the other.
How can it support a model which doesn't exist? The flat Earth model does not exist. People are
yes, it does.
Well, then
yes,
there's got to be a reason for that.
Right. There's a flat Earth model. The model is it's flat.
If it doesn't exist,
incorporate
then
many factors, not just the basis of its fundamental flatness.
Huh.
But,
That's the
but
model.
Mr. Music,
so
Mr.
you're
Music,
saying you can't.
globe,
You're saying
the globe Earth model is supported by evidence, is supported by our observational evidence, and evidence that you can collect with your own eyes, with your own gear.
We're talking about observation, observing the sun. What does that got to do with the Earth?
Well,
Can I say something?
sun, moon, stars, take your pick.
Yeah, I still
Can
didn't
I say something?
the shape of the Earth.
The,
Silver line,
the, ob-
gravity.
the observations that we've made create the globe Earth model.
Yeah, well, good
It's
for
not
you.
that we made a globe Earth model and then put our observations onto
Well
it.
done, good for you. Get a globe and stick it on your mantelpiece.
What?
You can't reason with this. This is pointless.
I'm not here to reason.
Well, that's just stupid.
Yep.
So you're not interested in truth, then, Music Man?
Life is like a box of chocolates.
So you're not interested in truth, then?
Flat earthers hate the truth. They hate
What is
facts.
truth?
They hate
So
science.
why shouldn't we just take the piss out of you, Music Man, then?
Well, that's why you've been doing for the last 75 debates, taking a piss out of people who believe in flat Earth.
You won't
you
have
just said
a
you're not
serious
interested in the
conversation.
truth. So what reason would we want to talk to you for if you're not interested in the truth?
Don't talk to me, talk amongst yourselves. I'll be quiet. Go on. So far you
That's
get.
okay. I'll rather just mock you. Just carry on.
Because you've got nothing to say, that's why.
So
who said
music,
Okay.
music. I
Hold
think
on.
the
You
point.
say we've been lied to and we're indoctrinated. So where'd you get your information from, Music Man?
From my eyes.
From your eyes.
Obviously
Right.
not.
So how do you explain the two
Well,
polar?
tell you what, Mark, what do you do for a living?
What the fuck's it got to do with what I do for a living?
Because I find I get most of my education from what I do for a living, like day to day.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you do for a
Right.
living?
I'm not telling you.
Mark,
No,
you
no,
on the
no, you want to
prophet.
say what you
It's
do for a
got
living.
fuck all to do with you, has it?
You're all
Really?
unemployed. You're all
I
unemployed.
work for MI5.
Don't swear.
You're that
Please no
important.
swearing,
I'm
Mark.
being assigned to watch you.
Try not to swear, Mark.
Because you're that intelligent, Music Man. We've decided you're a threat to national security. Okay, so I've been following you about.
Wubba
I watched
wubba.
you today in the bush next to the child's school.
I know what you're watching, Mark. I'm Kirk.
So,
I'm Brenda.
so I know where you are. You've got a drone over your house at the moment. So any false move, you will be eliminated.
I'm waiting for Amazon to bring up the drones and start shooting them down.
Jeez.
So, Music Man, I hope you understand that when you make claims, and your claims are, oh, you've all been lied to, all your globers, you
Last
just
time I made a
believe all the
claim,
lies.
40 when I was
And
18.
then the claims are challenged by saying
Turned down for
that, well, our observations match the globe, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to have some kind of a response. I mean, our observations match the globe. I mean, that's like the other fellow said, that's where the globe came from. It was a model
I
based on
disagree
our
with that,
observations.
Look at the
I
globe.
don't think
Turn it
our
upside
observation
down. You're
matched
telling
the
me all our water stays in that shape. Come on, man.
yeah.
Be the wiser.
So-
Listen.
But-
Now, Music Man, that's just a completely ignorant thing to say. I don't understand how you can challenge somebody and you have no information. You're just making it up as you go, whereas other people have spent
New
a
to
lot of
flat
time and
earth.
energy.
Because academia
He's
does not
new to flat earth. I can see that.
anything.
So I hope you are all enjoying the debate thus far. I'm going to run through a few of my links. If you are new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live. And most importantly, if you would like to join the debate, there is a link in the info box below this video. You'll probably have to wait for a network error or someone to drop, as we currently have a full panel of 10 people. But when that occurs, please feel free to click that link and join the discussion to express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Mark needs to pay attention. Please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected. And if you are, please do not try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. And with that, I'll say one last time, if you haven't shared the show already, please share the show, as it does increase the live audience, which in turn increases the diversity of the panel. And again, if you've not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
Okay, did I swear then, Nathan?
Please don't swear, Mark.
Yeah, did I swear?
You did, but you weren't doing it in anger.
I apologise.
I reckon I'd enjoy a pint with you, Mark.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We've had a pint together.
Have we?
Well, I had a pint while I was watching you.
Yeah.
So why are you intimidated by education and Music Man?
I'm not intimidated by education. I've been to university.
Well,
got my
you
degree.
do sound intimidated by it.
No, I'm hardly intimidated. Well, I do find it fascinating.
You got kids or have you got kids?
That's none of your business.
Oh, okay. All right then. Well, that's fair enough. But listen, yeah. If I tell you, if you tell a lie, so for instance, I'm your dad, yeah. I'll tell you a lie. And I'll tell you, no, to keep that lie, yeah. Then you have your children. How can you guarantee that the generation after that, the generation after that, the generation after that are all going to keep the lie?
Well, you can't.
Well,
Yeah.
then, so how can you say the whole world's been lied to and everyone's been lied to when even if NASA or the governments were lying to us, they could not guarantee that lie generation after generation after generation. And that's what it was. That's what it's been. Because this has been going for hundreds of years, Music Man.
Okay, shall I answer that question now? What I think is the answer to that question? Yeah.
Well, you don't have to ask me permission to talk.
Well, people were trying to. I think somebody else was trying to speak then.
Well,
Well,
I've heard nobody but you.
Question.
Yeah, I think it's because in most universities and private schools, the funding comes from one source, which is government. And
I didn't say anything about universities, did I?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything about that. I said
this is the problem. This is why people aren't answering questions, because the moment someone does try to articulate an answer, people laugh.
But you just made that up. You just made it up off the top of your head.
So what else is
many universities?
Well, I'll be honest with you.
Many universities. Many universities are self-funded. They have their own financial arm, and they are funded by their own investments.
No research section of any university
Most of them
is
are
self-funded.
private. You mean like Harvard? They're private universities. They're not. Public.
No
Private.
research.
They were founded. They were founded by private individuals and private organizations. They're not public. Public universities are a recent phenomenon of the 20th century.
Whatever research a university is doing, if they would find that there actually is evidence for a flat Earth, they would get so much money. It'd be ridiculous.
Listen,
why wouldn't they give proof for a flat Earth?
There are no satellites. You cannot launch. Well, there are satellites, but they don't orbit there. They are up there on balloons. Look at Project Loon.
Balloons. Really?
How long have satellites been around? And you're going to go with Google Loon as the answer to all satellites throughout all time.
Google are probably the richest corporation on the planet. And
how long have they been doing it?
And yet they can't.
How long have they been doing it?
Is it operational? Was Sputnik a balloon music? Was Sputnik a balloon?
Sputnik was launched by Google.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Hire anybody. And all our money is fiscal anyway. No, it's not.
How do you control a balloon, Music Man?
Can we talk to part-time? He's halfway sensible.
How do you get accurate measurements from an instrument dangling from a balloon?
You've got no control over him or anything. It's ridiculous.
I hear you, part-time. I hear you.
That's really a lazy answer to say balloons, Music Man. I'm quite shocked, to tell you the truth. Considering you've been to university, that's quite
It's beyond absurd.
Gentlemen on the panel, I've got to take my leave and let my spot be used by somebody else. But what I'm going to say to Music Man is that the key is to make careful measurement. Now, I've said before, it's really hard to observe curvature here on the ground unless you're using instrumentation. So if you want to measure curvature, get yourself a theodolite and learn how to use it. But other than that, it's really, really easy to look up. Just to make a very, very careful study of the sky.
Peace.
Can you flat Earth? Can you see obstruction due to the curvature here on the ground?
Nope.
That's for you, Charles.
Oh, that was for me. No,
Yeah,
I'm flat Earth math. I'm not flat Earth.
Been joined by Lewis
anyway,
Hackett.
I'm going to take off now. So you guys take care.
Thanks, Charles.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Lewis.
Been joined by, bear with me, Curved. Been joined by Lewis Hackett. Good to have you here.
Yep, I'm Lewis Hackett.
I was trolling your channel the other day, and I was watching the that video with the lawnmower with the vapor.
Yeah, it's a good video. Thanks.
That must have spun you out. That must have when it happened.
What?
Must have spun you out. Like it's quite weird that it was just running on vapor.
Also
Why
been
do you
joined
think
by
I
P.
made it?
Mars. Sorry, been joined Pete Mars. How you doing, P?
Hey, Lewis Hackett is wrong.
Good to have you.
I'd just like to go ahead and say publicly that Jacob Vigil is impersonating me on a channel called Lewis Lowell Hackett, taking one of my pictures from my Facebook account and saying some terrible things, slandering me. I'm just making this public now. Jacob Vigil is also known as Infinite Plane Society, Flat Earth Network, and goes by Tim Osman publicly.
I thought that was the highest form of flattery.
Only when it's positive.
So what do you got part-time?
Why do you got
So I guess a good place to start would to be, can things disappear on a flat surface?
Oh.
To me, I think it can. When Rob Skiba had sourced Dr. Rennie in his experiment to show how the atmosphere can act like a lens, I think that proved that things can disappear on a flat surface.
Can I ask you a question about that?
So I'm off anyway. All have a lovely Merry Christmas. Take care. Peace.
All right. So how did he prove that the atmosphere could act like a lens in that manner?
So basically, the atmosphere is like I think a pressure gradient, where the heavier, the denser pressure is like on the bottom and the lighter pressure is on top.
How did he prove that the atmosphere can act like a lens in the manner that he showed with that vertically oriented Fresnel lens?
Are you talking about Skiba or are you talking about Dr. Rennie?
Is that not what you're talking about?
Well, I'm not talking about Skiba's results. I'm talking about the guy that Skiba presented, because the guy that Skiba presented.
Hey, hang on, part-time. Hang on. Introduction time.
Chris Effie, how you doing?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thanks for being here.
Hello, Chris.
Nice to be here. Hi, Kev.
All right. So how did he demonstrate that the atmosphere acts in this way?
Okay, are we referring? Okay, so Rob or Skiba basically cited a man named Dr. Rennie, and so I'm not talking about Skiba's demonstration. I'm talking about Dr. Rennie's demonstration, and basically he showed how things can disappear on a flat surface because his demonstration included a flat surface. But if you grant that the atmosphere can act like a lens, then that proves that things can disappear bottom up on a flat surface.
Well, not being familiar with Dr. Rennie or anything that he did or claimed there,
right?
How can you explain what went on? Do you have a video? Can
okay,
you
let me get the video and I'll try to give you a timestamp. Give me a second. Y'all can just talk real quick. It might take like 2 minutes.
Okay. Earlier, take this opportunity to address something Joseph said. Joseph said, I believe Joseph said this, can things disappear on a flat surface? Well, flat surface is just a straight line that occupies 2 dimensions. So it's a straight line extending out forward and sideways relative to somebody standing vertical to that plane. So no, it couldn't disappear behind a straight line because it's a straight line in order for, and light travels in straight lines. So for it to disappear behind that, that would imply either that light's bending or the surface is not indeed flat. So short answer, no, you can't. Things cannot disappear on a flat surface because there's nothing for that object to go behind and be the line of sight to be broken.
Would it be better to say that it cannot be obstructed by the surface?
Right, right. If the observer is on the same side of the plane as the object, it's not going to be obstructed by the plane because the plane doesn't change dimensions, and the observer and the object are in a separate dimension from the plane.
Right.
Technically, if you had a massive enough object in the path of viewing, you could bend light in such a way that it would appear, no, it would still be clear. You would still see the whole thing. The only way it would disappear on a flat is if the distance got so far away that your eyes could not see it anymore. It couldn't gather enough light to see it.
Right. But a magnification tool, like a telescope, would bring it back into view.
Correct.
Right. Which is not what we observe on the surface of the Earth. And that's not what we...
It's not. It's a freaking globe.
Right, exactly. It's not what we observe with the horizon. The horizon itself is the curvature that flat earthers claim is missing. But it's not. The horizon is that curvature.
Okay, I've
Someone else
posted
will
a
have to
link in
present your video,
as a
vegan.
timestamp where Dr. Rennie shows how things can, the atmosphere can act like a lens, which makes things disappear on a flat surface. Bottom up.
It won't get, unless someone plays it, it won't be me playing it, just so you know. Because when I go and play things, I'm not in the Hangout paying attention to what I should be. So from now on, generally speaking, I'm not going to play people's videos, just so you know.
Oh, cool.
But if you want to present them, that's fine.
This is Skiba's video. You said you were going to get somebody else's.
Right. This is Skiba's video, but in his video, he has a video clip of Dr. Rennie doing a short explanation. And that's the only thing I need. I don't need anything Skiba said. I just need what Dr. Rennie said.
All right. Remember, atmospheric lensing, light bends downward. Oh, really? Oh, cool. Thanks. Thanks, Skiba. Remember, the science is the same as that of a lens. Oh, man. The science? What a wonderful, general, ambiguous term.
Yeah, so basically what Dr. Rennie showed that when you take away the lens, the things disappear. You can't see the bottom of the building, but when you put the lens on, you can't see the bottom of the building. So basically, the atmospheric lensing decreases the further you go out, which is why things disappear bottom first on the flat surface.
Oh my God.
Can light bend upwards?
I'm still waiting for this video to play.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I
Yeah.
thought this proves that.
These are the intelligent ones, Chad.
Oh
my God.
man. This
What an
is
idiot.
So do you think you're proposing that this right here, this magnifying glass, is what the atmosphere is like?
I'm proposing what Dr. Rennie said. So if you don't agree with me, then Dr. Rennie doesn't think the Earth is
Okay,
flat.
whoever, look, I want you to make a claim. That's what I need you to do. I want you to use your own brain. I want you to use your own brain and your own thoughts and make some deductions about the world you live in.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hang on a minute. Now, this video that was produced, my understanding from this was when they had that thing over the Chicago and said what you're looking at is a mirage. And they got that guy in the studio with this lens, with this photograph across the table to actually try and prove how the mirage happened.
Okay, right here, he is beneath the table. Okay,
Yeah,
the observer is beneath the table.
Lewis. Ignore what Skiba did. I'm talking about just what Dr. Rennie's video.
I didn't did I mention any names when I made my criticism right here?
No,
That this observer
you're
is beneath the table?
but you're showing Skiba's experiment. If you want to critique somebody, critique the doctor.
This is the video you gave me, part-time.
Yes, and I gave you the timestamp at 11:45 too.
And I watched it from the timestamp as well.
So that's all we need to be critiquing. So why are you critiquing Skiba's part? And
I'm going for what are you okay? All right, let's go back to your timestamp.
All right, 11:45.
I'll click on your link again. Here we are at the timestamp. We're going to wait for this ad. All right. There's literally nothing occurring in the timestamp you gave me. What is happening here? What?
No, the timestamp is 11:45.
This is the timestamp you gave me. All right. I will go back to 11:45.
I posted the timestamp literally in the side.
Oh, so now we have an animation.
He timestamped the video in the link.
Okay, right here. Okay, once again, this is beneath the flat surface. The camera is being partially obscured by the flat surface. Same exact problem as what I was pointing out in the other one. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
so you're saying you don't agree with the experts? The experts modeled it wrong too?
Experts? Those
Yeah.
you're calling those people experts?
Dr. Rainey, do you have your doctorate?
You can call them experts if you like.
Oh, so he's not an expert now.
No, that's correct.
Okay, so according to Lewis, you don't agree with that.
Yeah, that's right, part-time vegan. Why don't you bring up something that isn't ridiculous?
What's he an expert in, vegan?
So basically, he showed how if without the lens you can't see the bottom of the building, but with the lens you
No, I
can see the
didn't
bottom.
ask that. I said, what's he an expert in?
According to Dr. Lewis,
part-time.
the expert modeled this.
Part-time, true or false? The observer was beneath the flat object.
The observer was beneath the flat object? No.
Oh,
If-
okay.
if
Well,
you-
you're
if you
wrong.
actually
You're
watch
wrong.
the
He was.
No.
End of
Yeah,
story.
he was. Yeah, he
No.
was.
So once again,
No.
vegan, what's he an expert in?
Okay, if you watch the full clip that I showed you, then you would
All right.
see that the observer they put it basically.
All right, let me
made
know.
a midline.
Let me know. Look at my screen, right?
Yeah.
Let me know when you think you're dead even with the flat surface here. You think it's a dead even there? Because I do, right?
Yeah,
I do.
that's about
I
right.
don't even know what I don't even
Let me
know.
tilt it up towards you because this is a better explanation. Do you think it's here where it's dead even, or do you think it's like here? Because this is not.
I don't even know what you're trying to.
I'm
say.
trying to demonstrate to you what angles actually look like. Because you
Yeah,
obviously
I know
can't
the- I
tell.
know the- I know
You
the
don't
angle
think
looks
you don't think that the camera was beneath the angle of that plane? It was. It absolutely was.
Did you even read that book?
Even okay. First of
Pete,
all,
do
so
you
you're
even know
saying
what
so
we're
you're
talking
saying
about
so you're
here? You
saying
just
that
bring things
okay.
up
So
randomly for no reason.
So you're saying
because you
the
need
expert
attention.
is lying to us, is trying to manipulate us, that the atmosphere doesn't act like a lens? Is that what he's doing?
Not like that magnifying glass. So, see, he's lying to you and other stupid people to try and convince them that the atmosphere acts like a lens in the same way that a magnifying glass acts like a lens. It may have a lensing effect, but lenses vary infinitely.
So you're saying the atmosphere does have a lensing effect, correct?
Yeah, but
What
not
kind of a
anywhere
Okay, so there we
near
go.
the
So the
scale.
point
Not any
stands as a
part-time
lensing,
vegan,
as a
part-time
lensing.
vegan, not anywhere near the scale of a magnifying glass.
Sure. Okay, so as the lensing effect decreases, then the buildings will disappear from the bottom up.
No, wrong.
No. Why
Wrong.
not?
No.
Why not? Why not?
Because it's not like a magnifying glass. And
If it has
also,
it doesn't have to be exactly like a magnifying glass to have a
part-time,
lensing
there is a
effect.
better explanation for this already present. And
What is it?
we've already gone over it, which is that the surface of the earth is curved.
Yeah,
Okay,
plus you-
even with the
plus
curved
as soon
surface,
as you
the
write
atmosphere
something
can
in
still act like a lensing effect, have a lensing effect.
What's the orientation of the lens there if they're going to refer to it in that manner?
See, here's the thing. Regardless of where
What's
the
the
observer is
orientation of the
Well,
lens?
yeah. What?
Okay,
yeah.
hold on.
Answer curved. No. Stop. Answer curved.
Okay, so you're telling me what to do now?
Yeah.
We all are. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay. So what's your question?
What is the orientation of this lens as they're using it?
He put the lens midway.
No. What is the in
Orientation.
the sky, the atmosphere, the gradients? How do they act like a lens? What is the orientation?
Lighter on top.
What is the orientation? They're horizontal. They're like, spread out. Oh, the gradients are like different planes over the surface.
I
Or
don't
spheres,
get what you're trying to ask
actually.
me.
You don't get what he's trying to ask you. All right. Well,
Um,
you're demonstrating that you don't understand what lenses do and how they work.
Describe to me, through observation and experiment, how the atmosphere affects light.
Oh my.
The atmosphere has a lensing effect on light.
And
Explain.
what can
Great.
you expect to see because of that?
Say what?
What can you expect to see because of this lensing effect? How does that change
Well,
what you
because of the
see?
lensing
And what would you
What- That's
Because
he
of
said,
the-
what would you see if there was no lensing effect?
So because of the
yeah.
lensing effect, things would disappear from the bottom first.
Why?
Okay, great. So that's a magic term that you're now using
No,
for
well, that's what
ambiguity
the experts
because
say.
you
If
don't
you don't-
want
if
to
you don't
admit
agree
that
with
it's
the experts,
curvature
then
because
that's on
curvature
you.
is a better and simpler explanation. It's much more consistent.
Wait, I
You're
really
not-
want.
No.
I really want to know what observations and experiments that you have observed or studied or have done yourself that would show you this, and then even if you observed this happening, can you give an explanation, meaning the cause of why the light is being bent that way or in such a way that you would see these things disappearing from the bottom up. Like, if you can't describe that to me, then you don't understand what you're saying, and you need to go back and understand it and then explain it to people. You can't just say lensing effect. What kind of lensing effect? How does it work? Can we repeat it? Is it the same everywhere? Like, you're not saying anything. A lensing effect.
So the
You might as
lensing
well
effect,
say garbly goop.
no, so the lensing effect is not the same everywhere. It just depends on the atmospheric conditions.
How does that
And
work?
so basically, the atmosphere is not uniform. It creates a gradient, and this gradient causes a lensing effect that makes things disappear from the bottom first, which is caused by the obstruction of light. So I would say, are you asking like the physical mechanics of how it's bending the light? Is that what you're asking for?
Yes, you're talking about an actual complicated event here that you're describing, so that involves many different things, including the
Okay, well,
observer,
do you
the
understand how?
object, the light, the atmosphere,
Do you?
many different
Distance.
things.
Sure.
Distance.
Yeah. So
Yes.
basically, the lensing effect decreases the further you go out. And
No,
do you?
no, no.
How do? Okay. Why not?
Why does it?
Because because your eye has limits.
Did you say the lensing effect decreases the further
Right.
out you go?
Right.
Where'd you pull that from?
Because your eye has limits. So basically, if you're looking through a lens, right?
That's not an answer.
Well, I'm trying to answer
Because
for
your
you.
eye has limits. Well, that's not an answer.
How's that not an answer? What answer are you looking for?
What do you mean by what? How would the limits of an eye give us the result that you're talking about?
They believe we can only see so far, Chad.
Even though he's seeing farther than he apparently believes he can see.
No.
It's not going to make any sense.
Right, here's something.
They literally believe that we can only see so far.
I know. If you believe that the maximum distance you can see is the horizon, here's something that disproves that. The fact that you can see airplanes go over the horizon, right? Because they're up in the air. They're like 30,000 feet, 37,000 feet in the air, which means they're 37,000 feet further away from you than the horizon when they go over the horizon, and you can still see them. So it's not that there's dirty air.
You don't
Not
see the plane.
further.
You don't see the plane, Louis, do you? You see the
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You see the plane go right over the horizon. It
You
looks
might
like
see
it's
the culture.
flying into the horizon is what it looks like.
Can I suggest just one thing? When a different tact, possibly, than actual evidence. It's the same sort of thing that I use for. I'll just describe it. Instead of actually talking about the facts of the situation, talk about why they believe the situation. So instead of like saying, "Oh, well, that can't be true because of this fact," say, "Why do you believe that?" And if they can't describe why they believe it, then just ignore it. It's stupid.
So I think it's a fair postulation to say if you can't explain it, you don't understand it. That's a fair critique. I actually agree with that. But as it stands, the experts say that the lensing effect, the atmosphere does that like a lens, and that lensing effect can make things disappear from the bottom first.
You
I will look
don't
into it
understand
so
what
I
a
can-
lensing effect is.
So what?
You don't understand it.
Also, one of your favorite
the thing is,
criticisms
he
as a flat
demonstrated
earther is
how
to say that we're just repeating
okay,
things that we
Louis, you're
hear,
talking
right?
over
And
me.
that's
You're talking
literally
over
what
me.
you're doing now.
Louis,
You're
talking
going
over
to
me.
argument from
I'm still
authority.
talking, Louis. You're talking over me.
I know, and I'm
So
criticizing
basically,
you for going for argument from authority.
I'm trying to talk to the guy that
I
just
know,
talked to
and
me.
I'm trying to talk to you.
Yeah, so Louis, I'm trying to talk to a guy who just addressed me. So
Yeah, me too. I'm trying to talk to you too.
Listen.
anyways, so yeah, I understand that you want a specific answer. You want me to explain it, which is fair. But he, in his demonstration, he showed the lensing effect, and I will look deeper into the mechanics so I can have a better explanation for you.
All right, can I tell you something to look into right now? Right now.
Say what?
Can I tell you something to look into right now?
Okay. What is
when you've got that magnifying glass at like the far edge of the table,
right?
and you're looking through it from the near side of the table, looking through the lens, How is that photograph of Chicago oriented relative to the plane of the table?
How is Chicago oriented relative to the plane of the table?
While those guys figure that out, I'm going to let the audience know that we have approximately 1 hour left on this broadcast. So I'm going to run through a few of my links. If you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, toss me a buck or two in the super chat, which runs alongside the show while it is live. And if you would like to join the debate with the page you are currently listening to on mute, simply click the link in the info box below this video to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are currently 10 people on the Hangout, so you'll have to wait for somebody to either leave the Hangout or a network error in order to jump in. But when there is, feel free to click that link to join the show. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please do not swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please do not try to rejoin using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. One more time, if you've not already shared the show, please share the show, as it does increase the live audience, which in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. Massive thanks to all who have already done so. And again, if you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
The orientation, how it focuses, bends the light, is allowing you visibility of things that are lower than the plane of the table.
Right.
Now, if this experiment were set up to have anything to do with flat Earth, the bottom of the building cannot be below the plane of the water between the photographer and the city.
Right. I see. Yeah.
Okay, so you get that, right? Now you need to take this into context. You need to understand what's being described here, what they're saying, and why. And it's not showing what you think it's showing. This is not an excuse for things on a flat Earth disappearing from the bottom up.
I will look into it more, and I will come back with an answer for you.
I hear that a lot from you. Do you do that? You actually do it?
I do it all the time.
I wonder how many explanations you owe me from the last time we spoke.
Okay, well, what explanation do I owe you?
I don't pay attention to you. I don't keep track. I'm just
Well, if you
wondering.
wanna-
Like I said, I'm
Yeah,
wondering
I'd
how
like to
many
ask
you
Vegan
owe.
a question, if possible.
All right.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Vegan, so what difference does it make with the height of your altitude? Because that video is clearly at the same level. So what happens to the lensing effect when you increase altitude?
I'm not sure.
Well, we still see things go over the curve though, so...
Right, which
Why
was
do you
kind of
think-
what my point was.
This is what I'm trying to do. I'm basically.
It's that you don't understand
They're
even
just safe.
your own
What?
explanation that that was kind of my point earlier, is that you don't even understand your own explanation that you're giving.
Okay, sure.
So,
I mean, just because you can't, I can't, and like tell
but
you
then I
what
would just
happens
say,
when you, huh?
but then I would just say, I don't know. Why
Yeah,
would
well,
you make something up?
I said I
See, the
didn't know.
point is, Vegan, that video you showed has got nothing to do with what we see in reality, because you can increase your altitude and you still see things go over the curve. That video only showing what it'd be like if you was looking along the length of the table, from the height of the table. It doesn't account for anything else we see in reality.
And with the change in elevation, it demonstrates somewhat how the atmosphere does bend the light and make things that are beyond the horizon visible. But you have to understand that they're not saying that you actually look through a vertically oriented lens such as this. That's just to demonstrate the concept. The lensing effect is horizontally oriented through the different layers of, atmosphere with, the temperature gradients and everything like that. That's the orientation of this lens that they're referring to here. It's not like you're standing and between you and the sun is this vertical wall of lens that's making the sun appear to shrink and get smaller, and
So you don't think the
it
lens is
doesn't
vertical?
appear to what?
You don't think the lens would be vertical?
No, I
Right.
have absolutely zero reason to think it would be, and you can't show me one reason why it should be.
Wasn't there different? Doesn't the temperature vary depending on your altitude?
Shout
In
out to
horizontally stratified, not vertically.
Well,
I mean,
horizontally
the
stratified.
layers are stretched out horizontally over the surface of the Earth, and they
Right.
change in elevation.
Right.
It's take the magnifying glass and lay it down parallel to the surface of the table, not sticking straight up and down vertical to the table. Does that
Correct.
help?
And then try and imagine that you're inside of the magnifying glass.
Or take the magnifying glass and hold it out between you and the table, between the table or between you and the picture, and hold it horizontally. And imagine the light coming up from around the curve, hitting the magnifying glass, and it's more like a mirror in that regard, but because of how it bends it, but it's
Can I
not a
ask a
mirror.
question?
Yeah,
Can I ask a
please.
question? Does anybody know exactly how the atmosphere reacts as a lensing effect? Does it act like a convex lens or a concave lens, or does it even act like a
Well,
lens, or is it more of like a polarizing filter? Like, what is the actual effect of lensing that the atmosphere gives? I don't particularly know.
well, the effect that is most great is over the surface of water. It creates a layer of cold air relative to the air directly above the surface of the water. So a few feet above the surface of bodies of water, there's a layer of cool air, and that has the effect of causing light to bend almost exactly with the curvature of the Earth. And so you can see much longer distances if you are at ground level.
Is that
But
caused
as
by
soon as you're
cold air, or is that
as-
caused by the water vapor?
it's a function of the pressure difference. So it's a combination of all of that.
Okay, so can I quote
Cold-
an actual experiment
Just
here?
real quick.
Sure.
Colder air is denser, and the light bends towards the denser medium.
Okay, that makes sense. That
Okay,
must be
so
very,
in-
very minute.
It
It
is
must be
very
very
minute.
small.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Can you guys hear me?
But over great distances,
yeah,
it takes a
great
small angle of refraction to see beyond what they claim we should be able to see using just a curve calculator.
Right,
Yeah,
sure. I mean, the
Chris, you're
distances that we
audible.
can actually see, the
Chris
distances
wanted-
we actually see. Sorry, go ahead.
And they
wanted
vary.
Chris
Well,
wanted to talk.
Yeah, I just have a problem with the fact that the light refracts downwards. Now,
Why?
a spectrum of light, as we know, they're visible light that we see. So, allegedly, Dave ran an experiment across the lake in Hungary, and his experience and what he measured was that across a body of water, a lake, that the light was actually bending upwards,
Why did you think that?
not downwards, because of the atmosphere.
What experiment did he do?
It's with a laser light.
Oh, well,
So
that
as the
was
boat went-
no. That's the Earth actually literally curving down, resulting in a higher difference in elevation the laser has.
The light bending downwards from the target back to you is going to have the effect of raising the distant object in your view. That's for typical refraction.
Well, I mean, if you shine a laser over a body of water that's long enough, you should expect it to be at a higher level, especially if you use a level to square it off from its from where you fire it from. You
And then
should
with the
expect
laser-
it. You
Okay,
should
so-
expect it to be higher.
You got to deal
Right,
with
so-
divergence as well with lasers.
So really, then, over a given distance, then, for the curvature of the Earth, if I go say 10 to 16 or maybe 20 miles, and have a look at how far the actual laser shifted up in light, without, let's say, take out refraction or whatever, for that distance, then, if I'm saying, well, I've traveled this far, this is what the curvature should be. So then the light, if I use trigonometry to work out how high that light is, I should be able to work it out, shouldn't I?
Well, you shouldn't need trigonometry to do it, but yeah, you could work it out. But
You know
yeah,
the
it's
laser is
not
diverging as
the
well.
laser light bending upwards. It's the Earth bending downwards, and there being a difference. The light is from the surface.
So the curvature of the Earth then has a bigger effect on light than what refraction does. Then. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that you're thinking about the experiment wrong, and whoever Dave is, if he's presented it in this way, he also is.
Well, there's two things. You're saying the curvature of the Earth, and now you've got refraction. So one thing must counter the other, or both add together.
You're saying you seem to think that the light being higher above the surface is a result of it bending upwards, right? That's what you think?
Well, that's the question. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's wrong. It's the Earth's surface bending downwards, away.
Right. So you made a
from the
statement.
tangent.
You made a statement.
So the laser fires at a
Louis, you
tangent.
made a statement by saying that the light gets curved gets refracted back.
It
That's the
can
curvature
be.
of the
It's not always, and it doesn't happen equivalently over all bodies of water.
Right. So it's dependent on the atmospheric conditions, the density of the water vapor in the
But
air.
it doesn't. But even so, it doesn't follow that water. It doesn't follow the surface of the Earth exactly. It just bends it more than it otherwise would have been, allowing you to see a further distance than you otherwise would have been.
Right. So I have problems.
Who's giving us the echo?
Nathan.
It's not me causing the echo. It's just a glitch. Just keeps cutting to him when he speaks.
When we speak, we're seeing your icon come up with sound rings around it.
No,
So
I
don't
appreciate
know if
that, but it's just a glitch. So whenever Chris speaks, for some reason it opens up my line, but everything on my desk is muted. My mic's muted. Everything's muted.
All right, well, stop it, Chris.
I'm sorry. What am I causing, Nathan?
You're not causing anything. It's just a glitch. Sorry, not a lot we can do about it. I'm explaining that to the chat as well.
Oh, for what it's worth, you're a bit staticky as well.
I am.
So when if you get a laser properly leveled off, which you can do with a plumb line, and also this echo is occurring when Lewis, Nathan. But if you get a laser and square it off with a plumb line, so that it's firing at a tangent from the surface of the Earth, you would expect the Earth's surface to drop away from it. So over a distance, that laser is going to be at a higher elevation relative to the surface over a period of time, over a period of distance.
But lasers are also subject to refraction and can bend downward.
They can, but
curve more,
illuminate,
illuminate, hit a
Chad,
target
they lie high.
that
Thanks
is
for the
below the
super chat.
curvature, and the light coming back to your eyes from that target is bent downward in its travel path, making it hit your eyes or instrument, giving it the appearance that you're seeing something that you should not be seeing because it's below the curve. It will appear in your field of view relatively higher. Does that not make any sense to you, Chris?
Yeah. Okay. So let me put this to you. Am I still a bit crackly?
yeah, Nathan's thing is doing it still.
Oh.
Do we not use lasers for telescopes to adjust for atmospheric disturbance? Like, don't the mirrors basically, like the lasers are shot through the atmosphere, and a bit of electronics sort of moves the optics of the telescope in such a way to adjust for the deformity that's made through the atmosphere. I know it's true. I'm not describing it properly, I'm sure, but I know that they use lasers to do that.
You're talking about the ESO out in Chile, where they supposedly fire lasers up in about 90 kilometers up that hit sodium particles, so that the lens of the telescope can actually focus the range and actually get a clearer picture through the atmosphere. How that works is very loosely described. But I just want to go back to the laser thing. Sorry, Chad.
No, I'm sorry.
With the laser now.
Explain that.
When we're talking about lasers, we're talking about lasers in the visible light spectrum. Now, if we use the laser, that's infrared, I know for a fact that infrared doesn't have any effect from temperature, but potentially it does from the humidity or density of water vapor. So I know somebody with a 5.5 watt laser, infrared laser, to do an experiment next year.
Infrared
Possibly.
is unaffected by refraction.
Before you jump
I'm
all
not
over
saying
that, we've been
refraction,
joined.
but
Sorry to interrupt you
definitely
guys. We've been
temperature.
joined by Paul. Good to have you, Paul.
Hi, I hope you can hear me. I've got network issues here, so I may drop out.
I've got issues too. But good to have you here anyway, Paul. Big shout out to Sleeping Warrior for the super chat. Thank you very much.
All right, so infrared is unaffected by refraction, I hear.
Not refraction, no. Temperature.
God, refraction is mostly driven by mainly temperature gradients. That's what,
Well, okay.
it's a
Infrared
curved
pretty
medium.
much is heat.
Okay, so let me give you a true life example.
And
okay?
it is electromagnetic radiation, which is
Let me give you
gonna
a true life
operate
example.
pretty much like light.
Let me give you a true life example.
Go ahead.
Right, of systems that I've worked on. Okay, now I used to work on very large kilns that were about 99 meters long, and 20 meters of that in the middle was a furnace.
Wait. How big of kilns?
99 meters long.
Okay, I'm gonna Google that.
I do that now.
Big industry.
Yeah, 90 to 90, depending on the type of tile, right? Ceramic tiles.
Yes.
Okay, so you had your ramp up in temperature, you had your firing zone, you had your rapid cooling zone, and then your cooling zone. They're about 2.5 meters wide.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah. Okay, so these were ceramic tiles. Now, basically, you had ceramic rollers, and if you ever had any jam up in the firing zone, the last thing you want to do is have tiles stopped on these ceramic rollers, because these ceramic rollers were quite heavy as well. So you didn't want them to sag or droop. So you wanted to keep that thing rolling as much as possible. So if for any reason you got a tile that jumped, you had infrared sensors that were running all the way through this from one point right through the kiln entrance to the exit and back again. Right, infrared. Right, an infrared beam.
Sensors.
Sorry.
Sensors.
Infrared beam. All right. Now infrared is infrared, right?
Sensors or laser?
No, these were infrared LEDs, but it's still within the spectrum of infrared. Yeah. So the infrared, because it went straight through that heat furnace. If you looked through the furnace with your naked eye, all you would see is one complete mass of red haze. You couldn't see through it. Right? You just had this massive heat haze there in the center of the kiln at a distance, yeah? And I'm saying it was 1070 degrees, gas and air mixture just bellowing, second firing these tiles in the kiln. And one way to detect was get this beam through there to make sure it wasn't blocked. And you had a beam on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the kiln to make sure it was covered. And if those beams actually got blocked for longer than 1.5 seconds, bang, alarm would sound. And if the alarm sounded more than 10 minutes, it would shut the burners off. So it was an important thing to keep these things aligned and in tune, right? So I know from experience that infrared will just go straight through any given temperature without any effect whatsoever.
What was the temperature gradients, pressure gradients due to temperature within the kiln? Vertically oriented.
Well,
what was the shape of the interior of the kiln? Was it curved or was it flat?
Square. Rectangular, if you like. It was 2.5 meters by about.
Right. There's no curvature there to contend with.
No,
you don't have the gradients.
It's perfectly flat.
Perfectly flat. Yeah.
I want you to take your little infrared out of the kiln, take it out into the outside world, and try it.
I did that in the area because what I did is I designed another control system because we had problems with the long-term integrity of these sensors. So I designed another control system utilizing another supplier, and to actually prove it, what I actually did was because we had we had a lot of smoke ventilation and seepage from one of the chimneys.
All right. What did you do outside of the kiln?
Well, I actually strapped them to the ceiling, right? So when the smoke built up, it would actually block the infrared to give off an alarm to say that we had a leak. And I used a different infrared control system, but it was so reliable, this thing, that I then transitioned it into the kiln itself.
I don't.
Why do you think they use infrared?
Because it's not being refracted by the heat or the heat haze.
Yeah, and do you understand the law of physics that explains that?
I guess it's because the actual the light and the medium of the heat has no bearing on the frequency of the infrared. This is as if it's not.
No, don't say medium of the heat. Heat isn't a medium. Air is a medium, and it gets hot.
Okay.
Air is the medium. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
It's a well-known effect in physics that infrared light is refracted far less than the higher frequencies. That's why we see red sunsets and red sunrises, but we never see a red sky in the middle of the day.
Right.
Because the blue light gets refracted away from us, but the infrared light, the red light passes more or less straight through. So that's why they're using infrared, because it doesn't get refracted by the changing air so much. So you're not going to get a bent path with the infrared so much.
Right.
It's just a fundamental property of physics, easily explained. They wouldn't use an ultraviolet light because it would bend all over the place. Because ultraviolet gets refracted a lot more than infrared.
Right. So
simple as that.
So hence why I was saying we should use a laser across a body of water, perhaps an infrared laser over a longer distance, so we could eradicate any temperature. It
wouldn't get refracted as much. Yeah, that's right. You just need some sort of sensor to detect it, because you won't be able to see it with your eyes. That's all.
But you would if you had night vision goggles.
Or if
military
you
grade.
infrared
yeah, I guess so.
But how much less refraction are we talking about? Because he's trying to say no refraction.
No. I'm not saying that, Kurt. I'm saying this is a potential experiment. All right.
You're saying that infrared does not experience refraction.
I'm not saying that.
It does experience refraction, but less.
Right. Again, with the less equals none. Just like, less or higher resistivity equals non-conductivity. Somehow, in somebody's mind.
Yeah, it's a pretty common equivalence with them, isn't it?
Yeah, can I ask Chris a question, please?
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, Chris, why do you keep on with the story that stars can't be seen outside the Earth's atmosphere?
Do I keep on about that? Do I?
Well, yeah, you was on Jamie's a couple of days ago saying the exact same thing. When you was on the Vets hangout and it was pointed out to you this wasn't true and you was corrected, you said, okay, I'll accept that. But then you went on Jamie's and you said the exact same story.
I think, well, you might be taking me out of context there between the two, but I can't exactly remember.
I listened to both of them, Chris. I know what I heard because
all right.
I take pictures of the stars, so I was interested in what you were saying.
Yeah, was I referring to the Stratus night footage?
Yep, you're saying that outside of our atmosphere, stars can't be seen in a visible light.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Right. So wasn't you corrected on that though, and you accepted the correction because you said the video of the students trying to send a balloon up and take pictures of the stars, they had to use a filter that replicated the atmosphere. There's no filter that replicates the atmosphere.
Did I say it replicated the atmosphere?
Yes.
Or
Yes,
it
you
did.
said it replicated. You said they tried 3 or 4 times. They didn't
5 times.
succeed. They didn't succeed, and then they sent up a balloon that had a filter that replicated the atmosphere.
Yeah. What is this filter? If you're still standing by it, what is this filter?
So I take it that Chris is just a Poe.
Because we couldn't find it in the video. I don't know. Did you?
And I use all different filters. There's no filter that replicates the atmosphere.
I don't know how
Are you a Poe,
filters.
Chris? Are you a Poe, Chris?
I have no idea what that is.
That means that.
So why'd you
basically
say it then?
You pretend to be a flat earther. You're
You
not.
done the old spiel about the infrared light at the end of the remote again, and
Yeah.
that was your walk into the story of stars can't be seen outside the atmosphere.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mike. We've been joined by Jermaine. How you doing, Jermaine? Good to have you here.
Doing pretty good.
Wow,
How
you're
about
having it
yourself?
bad.
You say Mick again. You're pretty quiet.
Jermaine,
Glad
he'd
you-
like for you to speak a little bit more. He said you were pretty quiet.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, good
I
audio.
can, I can very well.
There's always the plus. Good
Welcome
audio.
back. Welcome
So
back.
that just concerns me a bit, Chris, when I hear that.
Thank you, Kurt.
Oh, all right, fair enough. I mean, you got me at slight disadvantage. I do have this thing.
So you can't remember what you said a couple of days ago?
I remember vaguely a conversation, but I mean, I do have an issue with that because I know from some of the footage that's been seen, sometimes they say you can see them, sometimes you can't. But what I have to put into this is the fact that if I was like, say, if I go back a year, and I was debating this, and I would be on the side of the globe Earth without a shadow of a doubt. I would be, right? And because that's where I was, and I had no interest in anything else apart from that. And I liked the stars and all that effect, and I was into UFOs and goodness knows what else. And you know, and if I had to defend the globe model, and I'm on your side, I'd be so disappointed with what's out there. I'd be so cheesed off with what they put out as the evidence for the globe Earth.
Well, maybe we're disappointed in your knowledge of the model and the evidence for it.
That still doesn't explain why you think that stars can't be seen outside the Earth's atmosphere. I haven't heard a single reason or a single concise point why we can't.
Yeah,
Well,
what
because
because
they're not stars.
What would prevent us from seeing?
Right, because they're not stars. But they still emit light, though, don't they, Chris?
Well, they do emit light from when we're within our atmosphere.
So something that emits light, why would it stop when we was outside the atmosphere? What magical powers has the atmosphere got that lets these things emit light?
Okay, so let's talk about light then, shall we? It's one of my favorite subjects, okay? Let's talk about light. If you look at the sun outside of our atmosphere, right? And you look back at the Earth, what do you see? You see illuminated environment that's been illuminated by the sun, by the sunlight, yeah? Look above or look beyond the sun out to the galaxy. What do you see? You see black. Because there's well, right? You see black because there's nothing there to illuminate.
Between the light sources, there's no scattering to speak of in space.
Right.
It's not a scattered atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So what's your problem? And I still want to know why you're making the claim about them having to use a filter when you can never back that up.
Well, the guys that did the Stratus balloon flight, they didn't get the stars shot or the Orion they were hoping for. So they brought the camera back down. I think it was the 5th try, and they actually put filters on the camera. Now I have to confess, I don't have the spec on the filters that they used. Now I did try and find that myself. So
is
it is
in
a
the
bit.
Video? Is it in the video?
You'd have to go back to their website and trawl through it. They talked about the lenses they used. I think they used a Sony camera with a Canon lens.
In a website, not in the video.
On their website, yeah.
So why'd you fill in information that wasn't there, Chris?
Sorry?
Why'd you fill in information that wasn't there? You said specifically on 2 or 3 occasions now.
Yeah. So why would
they added a filter that replicates the atmosphere?
Well, okay, potentially replicating the atmosphere. Then let's put that in then, all right?
Well, not even potentially, Chris, because it's not in the video. I've had a look. I can't find any mention of any filter that replicates the atmosphere. So that's you putting it in. That's you making it, spinning a yarn to fit your narrative. isn't it? Let's have the truth, Chris.
Well, okay, so let's say this then. All right, so we know that they're at loggerheads as to whether they see stars or not outside of our
No one's at loggerheads, Chris. It's only people like you who come on the net, pretend you know stuff about things, and deliberately lie to people because it makes you think you look smart.
Okay, well, Chris suffers a barrage of ad hominem attacks from Mark. I'll do one last link before we round out this show in approximately half an hour's time. If you are new to this channel or you've not done so already, which is a bit less than 50% of the viewing audience, so massive thanks to all of you who've recently subscribed. Several hundred people have joined this channel in the last month, so thank you very much for subscribing. But if you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Big shout out to Daylight Ohio and Sleeping Warrior for hitting the super chat. If you also wanted to support this channel, there is, as I say, a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, so toss me a buck or two in there if you are enjoying these live streams. And most importantly, if you would like to join the debate, there is a link in the info box below this video. With the page you are currently listening to me on muted, simply click that link to join the show and express your views on the shape of the earth. There are a couple of rules. Please don't swear. If you do, I'll kick you out, and if you are kicked out, please do not try to rejoin using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. So one last time, if you've not shared the show already, please share the show, as it increases the live audience, which in turn increases the diversity of the panel. And I'll say it one last time, if you've not subscribed, as I'm hoping to get to 5,000 by Christmas, I think that's a bit optimistic, but 100 shy, I'm going to say it one last time, please subscribe if you've not done so already.
Even out of our atmosphere. Is that what you're talking about?
Not exactly.
Huh.
He's talking about the blackness of space due to the lack of, anything there to scatter the light. That it's not, space is not all lit up. But if you look at the moon, you look at a planet, if you look at a star, there's nothing there to stop you from seeing the source of the light or the source of the reflection.
Well, that's just a fundamental misunderstanding of how we see light and how light works.
Yeah, he's full of misunderstandings.
I saw a shooting star.
I think it's important
I did
to
too.
focus. I think it's important to focus on because there's just two options here, right? Either they're lying or they're stupid. Those are the options, and you can't prove if someone's lying. You can't, because you can't know it. You can't see inside their head, but you can prove if they're stupid. So I think that's something we should focus on.
You're
Well, that's an easy thing to
It's a
do.
distraction to call them liars.
Just ask them questions about why they believe that.
Well, no, hold up. It's not. No, it's not. The reason I call him a liar, Lewis, is because he was corrected on it. He accepted the correction. Then not 2 weeks later, he's in a hangout saying the exact same thing. He's either blatantly lying or he's got a mental problem. One of the two. As he hasn't come in and said, "Listen, I can't remember what I said a couple of days ago, so bear with me," then I'm calling him a liar.
Well, if you can't prove,
there are a lot of
that he's stupid, then that increases the likelihood he's lying.
Well, there are a lot of people that like to troll flat Earth community, and
Well,
that
there is
could
a
be
third-
what he's doing. He just lying because it's fun. Because a lot of flat earthers are incredibly gullible. They'll believe anything you tell them. Anything. You tell them anything.
There's a third option. He's stupid and a liar.
That's
It's true. They're not mutually exclusive. Yeah.
They're not mutually exclusive. But it could be that Chris is just entertaining himself by lying to people. Like he was in Jamie's hangout. Yeah, Jamie's IQ is well over 65. Well over 65, I'm sure.
Sorry, fellas. I have to be going.
Can I ask Chris a question? Yes, Chris. Since I don't know if this has been talked about today, since we have the winter solstice today, my question to you is, how can you have a longer day? Now, do you recognize that today the sun is over or appears to be over the Tropic of Capricorn? Hello, Chris?
Yep, sorry. I thought you... But continue on. Go on. Yeah. Well,
So my question to you, first question to you is, do you recognize that the sun is over top of the Tropic of Capricorn today on the winter solstice?
because today's the 21st, so it's the shortest
Yes.
day. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
My question to you is, how can a city that's on the Tropic of Cancer have shorter daylight hours than a city that's further south from the Tropic of Cancer? For example, Sao Paulo, Brazil, has about 13 and a half hours of daylight today, while Ushuaia, Argentina, which is at the bottom of South America, has about 17 hours of daylight. How is that possible on a flat Earth?
It's something I've never looked at with the sun path and stuff, but there's plenty of other people you could put that question to that would be more qualified to answer than myself.
Anybody?
The short answer is it can't happen on a flat Earth.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Can I just mention something about all this malarkey about Riley and Randy providing evidence of Ireland? All they've done is presented a picture with land that the ice says doesn't break. It's continuous pieces of land. They've identified no landmarks on this so-called island. They've done nothing to prove it's Ireland, and they're running about as if they've proved it. They failed to prove the case, so they need to provide some evidence that it's Ireland.
Well,
It's a bit weird that you go further down the west coast of England and Ireland's even nearer than what they see, but no one's ever reported seeing Ireland. No one's said to rung up the Sun or the Mirror or any paper or any news broadcaster. Said I've seen Ireland from the beach on the west coast of England.
And hasn't he swapped?
Say that again, Kev?
Hasn't he swapped as well? Like what he was originally claiming was Ireland, he's now claiming is the Isle of Man, and the other part in the image has now become Ireland. But when he first started, it was the northern side of the island that he was.
Well, if you look on Google Earth as well, that the right hand side of Isle of Man would be closer to him.
Yeah.
The left hand side of Ireland. So if he was going to be seeing any part of Ireland, he would have been seeing the part on the right side, not the left.
But he abandoned that and totally switched. That's my understanding.
Yep. And another thing as well, we took pictures of the Blackpool Tower from, I think it was 30 odd miles away, and he didn't see none of the promenade, he didn't see none of the base of the Blackpool Tower, and he'd done that on numerous different occasions. So on numerous different occasions, he didn't see anything of the promenade, but on the one day that he's in this place St. Bees, he manages to see 150 miles, and people think that's plausible. I mean, no wonder Flat Earth gets mocked.
Well, hang on a minute. He's not here.
And why would
he's not here to defend himself.
Why would you claim to be able to see a little bit of Ireland on the left when there's a whole lot more there to see?
Well, it don't make no difference. I don't care.
Let's get back to the stars at night, shall we, Mark?
Yeah,
Sure.
anywhere you want, Chris. I just wanted to say that because he's running about in chat thinking he's proved something when
Well,
he
you're
hasn't.
watching the chat. You were in the panel.
What's wrong with watching the
Well,
chat?
I've got a
Nothing wrong with
secretary
watching
watching the chat, and I'm making sure you don't lie again, Chris. So carry on.
And also, like the mountains in Ireland are much taller than the Isle of Man. And if the Earth were flat, why wouldn't we see them towering above the Isle of Man?
Why would we only see a little bit to the left of the Isle of Man of Ireland when there's a whole lot more there that you should be able to see as well, if you could see Ireland?
Isle of Man sounds like a paradise.
Hey, you should stop talking and never start again.
Got a whole list of these comments in the in each video.
Because
If you
it's
wanna
funny,
check out the
Lewis,
comments.
because I like men. You know,
Yeah,
back in the
it's
day.
not that
galore.
funny.
'Cause
Nothing you say is funny.
It's funny because I'm a homosexual. Get it?
That doesn't make any sense.
It's funny because it's true.
I don't care if you're homosexual.
Yeah. Anyway, Chris, what about the stars at night?
Yeah. So we all have we all have our things, don't we? You say I'm lying. You say I say one thing and then I say another. I'm not changing my stance here. I still think if these bodies that were out in the supposed universe, all these light years away, and they are emitting light similar to our own sun, you know, and we go on we get out there, as you get the footage from NASA and whatever, there's no suns there whatsoever. Decide apart from the CGI cartoons that they put up when they want to put the Milky Way in. It's not a true reflection.
No suns, did you say?
You said it yourself. The answer's in your own statement. The distance.
Well,
what are you expecting to see then, Chris?
He thinks that because there's like the picture from the moon where you have to dial down the exposure so that you can actually make out features on the moon, and so therefore the sky is black. He thinks that shows that's real space, and everything else is just CGI, right, Chris?
No. Come on. I mean, listen. I mean,
Imagine, Chris, that you dial up the exposure so that you can see the stars, but then you can't see any features on the moon. Then you would just call the moon fake, right?
Oh, listen. I mean, no. The question is that the bottom line is that the starlight.
Who wants to look at a fuzzy picture of the moon?
No, I know what you're saying.
All right, good.
Crux of the matter is that if it's starlight, similar to our sun, no matter how big it is, if it's emitting electromagnetic waves that are coming through space and hitting our atmosphere, it's not until it hits our atmosphere that we actually see it. Would that be?
No, it's not until not until it hits your eye that you see it.
Okay, all right. So if I had a camera then, which I'm not looking at, then it can record it, right?
A camera with the proper exposure.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he actually thinks that you can't see stars when you're outside simply because they have to hit the atmosphere in order for you to see them.
Yeah,
okay,
there's
so
a crowd of
right.
these nuts out
okay,
there.
all right. Let's
Chris, hold on. Chris, if that was true, yeah, then it would stand to reason the higher you got where the atmosphere gets less, the stars and that would become dimmer, wouldn't they?
I mean, yeah, okay, so let's talk about light again.
Would they or would they not, Chris?
Well, I don't think you can see the stars outside of the atmosphere.
Well,
I'm asking you, you're saying that the reason we see it is because it's the atmosphere. The atmosphere is the thickest near the surface of the Earth. So if you go up higher, then the atmosphere is going to get thinner. By your reasoning, the stars should get dimmer then, shouldn't they?
Yeah, it'll disappear, yeah.
Right. So why are a lot of major telescopes built on the tops of mountains and places like that?
Well, to cut out ambient noise, or light noise.
Ambient noise.
Ambient noise.
Light noise.
How about less atmosphere to contend with? Better viewing.
What two types of noise are there when you're taking pictures, Chris?
Well, yeah, you've got the ambient light noise, and you wouldn't build them in the
There's
city.
usually two main types of noise when you're taking pictures with a sensor, a CCD or a CMOS sensor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what two main bits of noise should you be looking out for?
Well, you don't want to be taking in ultraviolet and infrared, do you?
Right. Okay. So you don't know about
then
read noise or thermal noise.
I guess according to Chris, then a better location for all these telescopes would be like in the middle of the Sahara Desert, right in the dense atmosphere there. Why don't we see all the telescopes there? There's no ambient light noise there.
Okay, so let's talk about. All right, I wanted to talk about light. Yeah, the light spectrum, if you like, 0.4 to 0.7 nanometers, whatever it is. Yeah.
Are you going to finish anything?
Yeah. So what is a light wave? What's it made of? What's it made of? A light wave.
Really? That's what you want to go to?
It's an electric field and a magnetic field. Is that right?
So
why don't we put telescopes in the middle of the Sahara, where the atmosphere is thickest? We should be able to see the most stars, according to your reasoning. Why don't we do that?
That's where
there's no ambient light noise there.
Can I interject? Mark, you know we were talking about Sly Sparkane's video earlier.
Oh, God.
Yeah?
What do you not understand about it now?
I was asking Mark specifically because he said that the lines at the end were all parallel.
Not exactly parallel, but they leave nearly parallel, yeah.
Earlier on, your stance was that they were parallel.
Well, they're not exactly parallel, but they're near as parallel as damn it, yeah.
You went back and looked, did you?
Pardon?
You went back and looked at the video, did you?
Okay, so what difference does it make if they're not definitely like 100% parallel and what they are at the moment? So what's the difference?
Well, answer the
Can you
question.
tell me?
Did you go back
Can
and
you
look at the
tell me?
video?
I did
I'm
look
asking
at the
you.
video, but I knew
Answer the
they
question.
weren't exactly parallel.
I'm
but
asking you to answer the question.
They're as near as parallel as damn it.
They're parallel. Okay, great. So let's just say you're saying they're parallel, yes? Yes.
What is your gotcha?
How do we calculate the distance to the sun?
Oh Jesus!
There's been
Listen,
lots
Kurt, why did you just
of
you're a good boy,
different ways.
Kurt.
Here we
Get
go.
your pacifier in your mouth and be quiet and let Mark answer the question.
There's
Mark, how do we
there's a
calculate
few
the
different ways that I've measured the distance to the sun.
How do we? Let's just give me one example then.
Using Venus's orbit and using Kepler's third law.
How do you get it? Okay, so if you use Venus's orbit, how do you calculate the distance of Venus?
Because depending how long the planet takes to orbit the sun.
The first planetary distance measured was Earth to Mars. That was done by Cassini in 1672. He used the method of parallax.
Thanks, Paul.
It's not a difficult
Yes, thanks, Paul.
calculation.
I heard you parrot that information about 4 days ago. So, and I also heard you say that we calculate the distance to the sun using triangulation from the Earth. That's possible.
It's not as accurate as doing the distance to Mars and then using Kepler's laws.
But we can. But you can.
That's why Cassini did it that way.
Never mind Cassini. But you can. You're saying you can calculate the distance to the sun from the Earth using triangulation. Yes.
You can do it. It's not as accurate because you need to have extremely accurate instruments to measure. But you can.
You're limited by the precision of your measuring.
And you would do that by using triangulation. Right. Would you use the method of triangulation for that?
I wouldn't use it if I was doing an observation myself because I personally don't have equipment sensitive enough to take the accurate measurements required to do that to an accurate level.
Okay, let's just say mankind is measuring the distance from Earth to Sun. Would they use triangulation from two different observers?
No, they would use other methods. They would use a transit of Venus, or they would use the same method that Cassini used.
Okay, they
measure it directly. They bounce radar off it.
They would use the
measure the distance directly.
Using radar, was he?
What's that?
Cassini used radar, did he?
Oh my God!
No, I never made that claim. But they do in the modern day.
Okay, so what did Cassini use?
Yeah, I told you he used the parallax method to measure the distance between the Earth and Mars.
Okay, and how did he?
Did you not listen?
How did he calculate the distance from Earth to Mars from parallax?
He had an observer in France, in French Guiana, and he had his own observation. They did simultaneous observations.
Did he know?
And they measured the parallax angle.
And did he know the size of Mars before they did that?
Why?
You don't need to know the size of Mars. You only need to know its position.
How did they measure the position if they didn't know its size?
Oh my God!
They used parallax.
Jeez.
You don't need to know the size of Mars to measure its parallax.
Riley
parallax has nothing to do with
the
size of the object.
So basically, you're saying we've got the distance of 93 million miles to the sun from, like, basically my cousin's aunt who lives across the road from Sheila Don Road, owns a parrot they sold in a pet shop, who was all lions in a jungle in safari. That's what you're saying, yeah?
With you people.
What a load of garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to say something sensible or not?
That's exactly what you're saying. You are in
music, because you don't understand
what
it.
What you said was a load of garbage. What I said made sense.
It is sad. You say
you don't understand it. It can't be true. Yeah?
Mark, and I came back because you're saying they use triangulation.
I didn't say that.
No, I said they used parallax.
There's loads of different ways that they could do it.
You also claim that
more accurate than others. Music.
You also claim that you can use triangulation to calculate the distance of the sun.
They could do, but like Paul said, it's not as accurate as other means.
Not as accurate as parallax.
You're saying you can, yes, but if the sun's rays are all parallel, that would be impossible because you would not get any triangulation, would you?
Oh, geez.
But we know the sun's rays aren't parallel. They're close to parallel, but they're not
parallel. They aren't parallel now, are they?
No, of course not.
Paul, the other day,
No.
Paul.
No one.
Paul. Okay, Paul, listen. The other day you said, right, that light hits the earth from sun in every which way possible angle, any angle possible, any angle is possible. Yes, you
no.
did. Yes, you did. So what do you do when you're measuring? You just pick two certain sort of rays, do you? You know, you just
That's not what I said.
Yes, you did. And if you want, I'll go.
No, you're putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm not. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm taking off the bit which they came out of your mouth. I'll go back
You're
to the.
lost.
I'll do an audio stream of it.
You're lost.
It's full of it.
You're grasping at straws.
You triangulate to the actual sun, Music Man.
Yeah, you're just full of
Well,
diatribe.
you can see the sun though, can't you? In the sky, can't you? Music.
No, Mark, I'm blind.
Well, there's no hope for you then. It's nothing.
Stop asking rhetorical questions, you plank.
So what are you talking about then?
I came back here because earlier on you said that in Sly Sparkane's video, the globe proved that all the sun's rays are parallel. They cannot be parallel if you use the sun's rays to triangulate the distance of the sun from the earth. And B, Paul said the other day on another like you picked up that guy earlier.
What would that? What you look at when you
Are you
triangulate?
totally missing the whole point? Are you totally missing the point of Sly Sparkane's video?
No,
the
I'm
whole
not.
point of Sly Sparkane's video wasn't
This is
to
why
cover
you're regurgitating now. Mark is
show
picking
that
up
the
another
sun
guy.
not close.
Mark is picking up a guy for making faults on another video, so I'm doing the same here. Okay, with you, Paul, because you're talking nonsense.
Well, because you don't understand it.
Yeah. No, I don't. No, I don't stand under it. No, I don't.
Oh, here we go.
Free man. Free card on the land.
Oh God, you're the freeman on the land. Oh,
Exactly,
woo, woo, woo.
I've got you on a dog leash.
Let's talk admiralty law.
Freeman on the land, man. What a fruit bat.
Well done. Excellent.
Let's talk about your law of the seaman.
Sorry, Nathan, if I'm shouting, but these planks need talking down.
Planks.
Well, you're not the one to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing a pretty good job
No,
there.
you're making an ass of yourself. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, you don't use the sun to triangulate. You got to do it with the sun rays, and the sun rays don't come in parallel, so you can't do it.
Anyway, we've been joined by
The
Channel
DJ.
Q. Good to have you, Channel Q. Nice to see you.
Hi,
Exactly.
your microphone is full of static.
Yeah, I know.
Lots
Yeah,
of
I'm-
problems today.
I'm probably the least, inarticulate person.
Educated, least
Nathan is
intelligent.
subtle trolling us with this mic.
I still speak you clowns down.
Music Man, do you understand that the light, the lines of sight to the sun are within like very small fractions of a degree from?
Well, if you were listening earlier, Curved, I did say
It's
that
not.
there was a
You
one.
know, not everybody is going to go through the entirety of this to explain this to you. We refer to light's rays as being parallel
Listen,
from
Pilcher,
the sun.
I said earlier that
The lines of sight to the sun
that's just your
are
own.
even more parallel than the rays of light coming from the sun. Because the sun is about half a degree to us, but the Earth is only about 0.004 degrees from the sun in angular size.
Wow, it's like a fire.
It's all right.
You're very mature.
Welsh is
Mark, listen.
Welsh, Curved. It's all right.
Yeah, Mark, I pulled you up and I've done you on my head earlier. So,
Welsh, Curved. You have to excuse
when you
it.
get tomorrow's memo,
We do. We try to anyway.
the social media
But the
analyst,
Welsh are known in the UK for being stupid.
that's your real job. You're social media analyst. You're setting a
Hey,
fucking menu every day.
Go and bang your pots.
I know two people from Wales, and I got to stick up for them because they're very smart and they're very good guys.
Yeah, you're just all honestly, it's just
You
pathetic.
got a sheep to shag.
Shout out to Rob and Lottie.
Joined by Sleeping Warrior. We've got about 10 minutes left.
Oh, now here comes somebody.
So Paul,
Look at
I
this.
don't understand it, so it can't be right.
About 10 minutes left, guys.
Mark, I tell you what, Mark, do you have my present right? I would knock you up.
I don't
haven't got 10 minutes
understand it,
left.
so
Oh.
it can't be
About
right.
3 minutes left.
Paul,
I'd say somebody's triggered. I'd knock you the F out.
I
That's
would.
acceptable here.
crush him.
He's Welsh. No Welsh man has ever
That's
knocked anyone
acceptable
out.
now.
I crush him like a chocolate wafer. Paul,
Music Man is saying he would knock him the
I
F
don't
out.
understand it. I'll knock you out.
I guess nobody heard that.
And look at what I brought you to.
You got away with one, Music Man.
I
Congratulations.
don't understand it means I don't stand under it.
Yes,
You
Paul.
sound dumb as
He
they
overstands it.
Or would you prefer I spoke like this for you guys? Is that better?
No,
I
we,
say
we
so.
know
No,
you.
not
We know
really.
you're Tim.
It's better.
Is your name Tim?
My problem is what you're saying, not how you speak.
Yes, so Paul,
It's the
on
content.
the debate about 3 days ago, you definitely said that the sun hits Earth from all possible angles.
Possible from the sun. Sorry, Paul, I'm speaking for you.
Yeah, that's fine. You're saying the right thing.
You tend to do that for each other anyway, don't you? You probably cross swords as well at the urinals.
Don't get near me.
Yeah.
You won't like it. Mr. Badass.
But there you go. 3 highly intellectual academia people brought to their knees by.
Brought to my knees. Why you? You're having a laugh at me. You come
Why
in and
you?
said, I don't understand this. I can't be true.
Exactly.
That's all you've done.
That's your only
Laughing at the utter bullshit you're spewing.
That's all
Brought to
you've
our
done.
knees.
And
It's
I
hilarious.
forget. I
You're like
don't
a very lost
understand
boy
it. I
scout.
don't stand
Nathan?
under it. I'm a Freeman.
Music,
Nathan.
you're not just a jackass. You're
Boy
stupid.
Scouts.
There's only
Nathan,
one
could I just ask
academic.
one question and then I'll step out?
There's your question. Bye.
I just wanted to ask Channel Q if she'd address this question for me. Some of her previous comments in the last hangout. Riley lies constantly. Riley wants to lie to us again. Paul Voigt, Riley knows this is why he's not using the calculator. He loves to misrepresent. Unsub for honesty.
It's very astute. Well done, Q. You've got.
Can't even
Riley
say
down to
hello.
a
First thing out of his mouth is a lie. I don't ruin things. I improve them. I'd like to know what that improvement was.
She's got you read well, right, hasn't she? She knows you're a liar.
What's the flat Earth? Is this show where Riley lies about everything and people laugh at him? And then finally unsubbed. Channel Q, what are you doing here, kidder?
That's brilliant, man.
She doesn't have to be subbed
Tell
to
him
be
the
on the
truth.
panel.
That's brilliant, man.
Idiot.
Should I respond at this point?
Good point, Riley.
And with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to the live audience for joining us for this debate and for sharing the show. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley and I'll see you all in the next video.